So Nance, as the executive of one of the largest brands in the world, Coca-Cola, what are some of the things that you can share with my audience about why Coke was so successful?
So the secret formula at Coca-Cola is not the 7 bits of tree bark and lilac and whatever makes it brown. The secret formula at Coke is how coherent a marketing strategy they have. You know, a marketing mix, product, promotion, price, placement, or distribution. If all those things are in alignment, then you have a winning marketing strategy. Then you have a great brand. Then you have a lasting brand. And then you make a lot of money.
I think one of the things that a lot of people don't understand about branding is that it has to be a consistent, cohesive message. It's very, very important stuff. How about moving on? If a young artist watching this is a little bit confused about exactly what their brand is, what would you have to say to them about maybe the process of figuring that out?
Right. And that process, Bobby, is a deeply internal one that is lightly seasoned with external impressions. So a brand has 3 fundamental aspects. What I call a personal brand triad is a brand made up of 3 elements: who you've always been, how you get things done, and why people keep you around. Take a snapshot of the things that make you special. Hit those notes over and over again when you talk, when you write, when you sing, when you promote, and when you get with an audience at any point in time.
It has to be authentic. It has to come from the core of who you are. Okay?
Yes, and that it is authentic, because just like Coke has to keep showing up with the same approach, you, I, the artists that we love, they have to keep showing up.
Excellent. Moving on to the next question. What is your sort of advice when you're trying to establish yourself as an artist, but at the same time, you're hearing all these messages from people on your team that are sort of leading you down this path that you're not really sure that's really what you are?
If you're an artist and your manager has good reason to tell you what an audience wants from you, I would take a big sip of that cup and think about it and say, what does that research, is it valid? Is it substantial? And should it inform my brand today, knowing that as I mature, I can do anything I want? Life is long.
Right, exactly. Yeah. All right, moving on. If you think back, especially in music, and you think about all of these amazing characters that have existed, Elton John, Amy Winehouse, and even a lot of the artists that are successful today, they have an edge of uniqueness to them. They're not coming out and doing what everybody else is doing. They have their own fashion sense, their own hairstyle sense, their own way of walking and talking and dancing and so on and so forth. How important is uniqueness to creating a brand?
If you have real talent, if you have real style, if you have a statement that you can confidently make, that you have a burning desire to stand behind, then for goodness sake, do it.
It's important to be that purple cow, so to speak, right? So that you're not just part of the herd.
If you are that thing, then you have to look at your competition, just like you're saying, Bobby. Think of what the branding means. And it's that branding that separates you out as an artist from anyone else that can make the same sounds or the same music.
Right. You distinguish yourself in the marketplace. All right, let's move on. What would you say to artists that, where a cause is part of their brand, and there's so many different causes. They can be political, they can be religious, they can be whatever the case might be.
If you pick a cause, you best be there for the long haul. So
Right.
It must be authentic.
Right.
So if you pick a cause, be the cause, live the cause, and then expect that your audience buys into that as part of your brand.
Right. And it's got to be real. You don't want to be seen as jumping on the bandwagon, because that's the last thing that people are going to, accept. All right, let's move on. The last question I have for you now is the concept of rebranding. I think Madonna is sort of the mother of rebranding. I mean, she has gone from so many different types over the course of her career, and still to this day, she's relevant. Because she's reinvented.
I worked with Madonna. In fact, I got to work on her charitable foundation. And so as she iterated, as she felt a genuine burning desire, we're talking burning desire, like gonna die on my sword, as she felt a burning desire to change her persona, she did. So for you to rebrand, for you to evolve is natural, but it truly must be something that you are wholeheartedly committed to. And then your audience is likely to catch that. It's called contagion.
Absolutely. Right. And then actually, I lied. I have one more question, is this idea of having a separate brand. So for example, Snoop was Snoop Dogg, but he wanted to get into something else and experiment with something else. So he called himself Snoop Lion, and he sort of separated himself from the Snoop Dogg brand to make, I think, a clear statement that, hey, this is Snoop Dogg and Snoop Dogg is still there, but I'm going to go off over in this world and I'm going to do a little bit of Snoop Lion stuff and do some reggae stuff. So what do you say about an artist that wants to kind of make the Christmas jazz album?
Never slide, always jam and release. So never let it be murky. Never let it be in the imagination of the audience what you are doing. Call it out, be bold, be brilliant, and be brief about it. So if you are doing a once in a lifetime Doobie Brothers Sings Christmas, I don't know,
Right.
Make a big deal like Snoop did, make a big deal, whether it's with a name game or some other way,
Right.
but do not slide and let the air be murky. Control your message. That controls your audience.
Excellent words to end on. Nance, thank you very much. I think you gave us some really good information about branding. Appreciate it.